Hello and welcome to Mike Traynor, my very special guest tonight. It is amazing to have you here, Mike. So tell us a little bit about your story with CashFX. How long ago did you start with CashFX?
Right, well, I was shown this by a good friend of mine last October.
October of 2020, is that correct?
Yes, yeah, that's it,
okay.
yeah. And in fact, I'd been shown this 3 months after the company actually launched, but I hadn't got a clue what it was about, didn't look into it. And of course, as they were only 3 months old, they didn't really have a lot in place. So right. I thought, oh no, I don't know how good this is. And I just prejudged it and ignored it. Well, then when my good friend Tony approached me on it, I thought, and I know what Tony's like. I trust him implicitly, and he's a financial advisor anyway, so he would have done his homework, which he did. So I thought, right, if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. So I jumped in and I just bought the $300 pack, which was the lowest one. I thought, well, I'll start there and see where it takes me.
Okay. So, and just for anybody who might be watching this later on, we're now September 28th of 2021. So it's just been just a fraction under a year, right, that you've been with CashFX. And just to be really clear and open, you have been in network marketing before, right?
Yep, since the early 1970s.
Okay. And have you had much success with
well, I was with Amway. That was the one that I first started with. And I got as far as silver producer, which is nearly direct distributor. But it virtually collapsed on me. And I've been in a couple of other ones, a perfume one, which is, the product. What I like about them is the products are brilliant, but I'm not a salesperson. And I struggled selling the products. I mean, some people seem to be born into it. I still use Amway products. I still know someone who's a distributor, so I still use them because I still think they're one of the best products out there. But just for me, product-based businesses just wasn't for me.
Okay, so you started off with CashFX with the $300 pack just a hair under a year ago.
Yep.
And how many people have you personally recruited into CashFX?
I've recruited 10.
Okay. And how big is your team now?
I just checked it a minute ago, and I have 946 people in my team.
Wow, 946 people, and you've only recruited 10 people. And of the 10 people that you've recruited, how many people are really actively building?
Just 2.
Okay. So you've recruited 10 people, which is not a lot of people in the world of network marketing, right? And only 2 of those are actively recruiting, and you already have a team of over 900 people. So with CashFX, have you put any additional money of your own money in the last 11 and a bit months?
I put an extra 2,000 in further on, mainly because one of my team was actually coming up fast. He was recruiting and coming up fast, which means, and he would have, with his upgrade, would have capped me out. Right. So Tony, my sponsor, he said to me, have you got enough to upgrade to the next level, which will give you that buffer? So I did, because otherwise I would have capped out. I didn't have, wouldn't have been able to go any further. So that's the only extra money I put into it.
Okay, so in total, you put $2,300 in.
Yeah.
Okay, and where are you at as of this very day, today?
Well, last night I upgraded to the 100K pack. I was $4 short of it with all my returns and everything and bonuses, and I'm obviously I was able to upgrade, and which is what I was aiming for, but I never expected to be there within a year. It's just grown phenomenally well.
So, I mean, I want to make sure people understand this. So you started with $300.
Yeah.
And you've only shared it with 10 people who've signed up. 2 of those people are builders. Yeah. And you added another $2,000. So basically, let's say $2,300 turned into $100,000 in just under a year.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I had to pinch myself. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
trading pack. The $100 is the trading pack, but it's going to bring me in a phenomenal income. Per week, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, exactly. At the current rate that we're earning at, which is a little over, I think the yearly average so far for 2021 is 5.13 or 5.14%. You're going to be making about $3,500 a week.
Well, do you know what? I got an email from my bank.
Mm-hmm.
I went online and looked at it, and it said that my savings, the tax-free savings I had in there, an ISA. I don't know if what you call them in Canada. I don't know what it stands for, but it's an investment program that it's like tax
for retirement, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
No, I've taken everything out I had in there because the interest return on it was rubbish, and it was at the time 0.05%. They've now dropped it to 0.01%.
For a year.
For a year. So
for a year.
To get 1%, that would take me what, 100 years? Is that right? I mean, my math isn't that brilliant, but
I don't know, but a long time.
Yeah.
And just to be really clear for people who are watching this, we're making over 5% a week.
Yeah. So on average, it's about 1% a day. On average.
Yeah.
So it's phenomenal. People think, oh, you can't be, but we can show it to them. We can prove it to them.
Yeah.
I mean, traders make this money every day anyway, and more.
Now, we also want to be really clear that your $2,300 turning into $100,000 wasn't strictly from the trading pool. It was trading pool, and because you've got a team, you're getting lots of bonuses,
matrix payments, and I mean, I don't even try to understand how the whole concept works, because you don't really need to. I mean, the guy that introduced me, Tony, he sits in front of his computer all day. He knows the marketing system inside out. So if I have a problem, I just refer people to him. I don't need to know it.
So, Mike, when you started, did you ever in your wildest dreams imagine that $300 would turn into $100,000 in under a year?
I used to at least when I used to go to these conferences, like the Amway conventions and that, and I'd see the diamond distributors on stage, and I thought I would love to be where they are. But then they had thousands and thousands in their organisation, and I thought, realistically, if you ever think you're going to get to that position, it's going to take you a hell of a long time. And there's you've got to move a lot of products. We don't have a product, not a physical product.
Right.
We have a
training product.
Yeah, training products that you don't have to use if you don't want to.
Absolutely. And so you don't have to sell anything, and you don't have to recruit anybody if you don't want to. I mean, you decided to share it with people, but it wasn't like you shared it with 500 people or anything. 10 people. And Mike, of the people that you've actually had conversations with, this might be a guess on your part, but what percent would you say have actually signed up? Like, has there been a ton of rejection?
Not really. I shared it with a few people that I used to work with that were sort of coming up for retirement age, because I thought they would be the ideal people that would want an additional income. But I think because it's like, look, the average person makes a decision on a little bit of information. Yes. And some of them didn't even want to look at it. Some saw a bit of it and said, no, thanks. So it wasn't, I didn't go, out major recruiting program. Maybe I should have done. I would have got there maybe quicker. But, I of those 10 people, 8 of them are obviously, they're more or less passive. They might have introduced 1 or 2 people themselves, but they're looking at long-term, a passive income. And not everybody wants to share it because, some people, they fear rejection, don't they? They don't like, that's the thing.
Or it's just not their thing, which is totally okay. I mean, that's the beauty of this, right? Yeah. You can be totally passive and your $300 will still turn into $100,000 if you keep reinvesting.
Yeah, they reckon the plan is on it that if you just put the $300 in and leave it and just upgrade when you need to, it would take you between 4 to 5 years to actually reach that 100K level, which you still wouldn't get anywhere near that with a bank or anything else.
Yeah,
You know, so
exactly.
I tell you, it just blows me away, really. You know, when I say
Yeah.
to people, just look at it. You know, look at it logically. You know, if you want to research it, search it, research it, but don't Google research, because that's where all the rubbish is. There's no truth there at all.
Yeah,
It's
you'll
the
see. I mean, it's like with anything, right? You can find all positive and all negative with anything. So Mike, what would you say to somebody who is watching this? Maybe they've watched a bunch of other videos and they're wondering about this cash effects thing. You know, should they do it or shouldn't they do it?
Well, I mean, it's we've just watched the grand opening of the offices in Panama. Now, they bought the whole of the ninth floor of the RBS Tower in Panama for $2.5 million. They spent, I don't know how many thousands and thousands of dollars renovating it, and the beautiful stuff that's gone in there. And because of COVID, it pushed it all back. But they had the grand opening last, was it Friday or Saturday? I can't remember the day now. And it was quite emotional. I sat here watching it, and I was actually getting a bit tearful listening to the CEO speak and what his vision is. I mean, these guys are multi-millionaires in their own right. So if this is a scam, why would they even bother trying to do this just to get a few a few dollars from people? Because it's crazy. And all these people that say, oh, it's a Ponzi or it's a pyramid, they don't know what they're talking about, because they wouldn't, if you asked them, well, explain it to me, they wouldn't know. And they've got no proof. So I just say to people, with the investment this company have put into it, they put millions into this for $300. You know, you can spend more than that on a night out.
Yeah, you absolutely can these days, right?
Yeah.
So just give it a try, right? The worst case scenario is you put $300 in and you find out, oh my gosh, this really does work, right?
Yeah.
And you can choose to withdraw your $300. So if anybody's really concerned, what I say is, look, put $300 in, and as you're earning, get your $300 out. So then anything else you're working on is house money, right? You've already got your initial $300 out, and you can still watch it grow from $300 to $100,000.
I mean, people have done some amazing things with their money. There was one girl, she's from Africa, and she's building a house for a mother back home in Africa with the money she's making from CFX. You know, and there's all sorts of stories of people helping villages and that sort of thing. And I mean, you know, one or two people I have gifted the packs to, because I know they didn't have the money, and it just gets them on the ladder.
Yeah.
You know, it's just an amazing. I just think it's an amazing opportunity.
So if you're interested in finding out more, if you've got any questions, or if you're ready to get going, check out the link below or get back to the person who invited you. Mike, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime.